What's happening, guys? Happy Sunday, and welcome to the Dynasty WarZone, the People's Dynasty podcast. On this show, we're going to call it the Jerry Was Almost on Time edition, or the 5 biggest things that we've taken away from all of our rookie drafts to date. But here he is, my co-host, the aforementioned man of the hour, and the man with the power, Jerry, almost not tardy, Sinclair.
Listen. It is sunny. It is not windy. There is not a cloud in the sky here in Iowa, which means my dog was never, ever, ever going to be cooperative. She wanted to roll. She wanted to poop. Randall, how the hell are you, my friend? It is another magical Sunday where I get to look at your beautiful face.
I don't know about beautiful, but it's definitely a face, man. It's good. It's good. We, for the most part, after a week and 19 leagues, we are almost through all of our patron drafts. It's amazing. But the cool part about that is, so the good part is that we have takeaways that we want to share with you guys, that we've seen trends, ADP movers, just some things. But the bad thing is that it's almost like pretty much gone. I have like maybe 2 or 3 left, and one of those is not until June, and it just, here's what I've learned. I'll give you a preemptive takeaway. The free spaces, the free ADP jumps are going away quickly. But dude, it's a ton of fun. So if you're doing later drafts, we'll talk about it more in show. But like, what about you? How much fun are you having?
I mean, it's, the sizzle is starting to come down a little bit, right? Because most of my drafts have already happened, or they're at the tail end, and I'm picking between players I don't give a damn about. But no, I do have a couple later ones, which I'm excited about. So there's a lot to talk about, because not everybody has degenerates, and they have not all done their rookie drafts. But also, if you have, we're going to talk about the wild shit that we've seen. Maybe not even the wild shit, the trends that maybe we didn't expect.
Well, newsflash, I just noticed I'm on the clock in a league, and this is a league with Jax Falcone, Pat Fitzmaurice, Graham Barfield, Hayden Winks, JJ Zacharyson, Nate Liss. Nate Liss is a very interesting league mate. So it's a 14-team league. I have the 110, currently on the clock with the 310. Now it's 14. So what do we had there? We've had 9 plus. We've had 37 players off the board. It is Superflex tight end premium. So far, at the 110, I took RJ Harvey.
Okay, perfect.
I think there's a huge tier break after RJ Harvey.
Agree.
At the 210, again, this is Superflex and 14 teams, right? Like in a 12-team league, there's technically 32 starters in the NFL, obviously injuries, weird situations, kind of like what Cleveland's in right now. So I have the most mid quarterback room ever. I've got Sam Darnold, Jared Goff, Daniel Jones.
No sizzle for sure.
Zero sizzle. So at the 210, I took Shedeur Sanders.
Okay.
Just a complete wing. What is that? The 24th overall player off of the board. I thought that was good value. If he starts even a handful of games, that pick paid for itself. If he somehow plays really, really well and keeps that job for a couple of years, that is a home run pick. But as we sit, I am currently on the clock, and I'm looking at DJ Giddens, Damian Martinez. Then it gets, and wide receiver is brutal.
Yeah,
Tez Johnson, Xavier Restrepo. I think I can get him in free agency. All of the tight end, they're down to Gunnar Helm. So I will ask you, I don't need tight ends. I've got Hockenson in this league. I've got Fryermuth in this league. I've got, oh my gosh, Brenton Strange in this league. So I'm loaded at tight end. So I think that means the pick for me. I don't have any DJ Giddens. So I'm thinking DJ Giddens right there. What do you think?
I have 0 DJ Giddens, but I love Jonathan Taylor. And I don't.
Oh, I do too. But I'll tell you what opened my eyes. I always give credit where credit is due. The Podfather, oh my gosh, he had Ross, was it Russ or Ross Fisher? Ross Fisher. And he had him on, and he is, and if it's not Ross, it's not Russ, it's something Fisher. Very good guess. He's had him on twice in the last month. But they were talking about DJ Giddens and what a good prospect he was, and he liked him. And they started talking about Jonathan Taylor's contract. And they started talking about, Jonathan Taylor's injury history and about how there's nothing but a bunch of crumb bums and shoe clerks behind Jonathan Taylor in Indianapolis, and that DJ Giddens is one Jonathan Taylor injury away from having real dynasty value, even in the short term. So with all that being said, are you supportive of this pick?
I am fine with the pick.
Okay.
I'm a Kyle Monungai guy myself late in drafts when it comes to running backs. But
I'm going to talk about that in just a little bit. But see, Jerry, now how much fun was that drafting with me, even though it was one pick?
We have a couple teams together, so I get that joy myself. One of the teams we were in, you were on the clock for a long time. You've sort of been the lead in Patreon 12 with that team. But you were on the clock for a while, and I didn't want to keep people waiting, so I took a weird swing, and we took Tet at 108, I think, which yeah. If I was going to pivot with any team, it was going to be the one that Randy is the one that usually handles.
Well, as we can all agree, drafting is really fun. And if you're wanting to get into this and you're wanting to do it for a different form of cash, you may want to check out Origins.
Rookie. It's all about rookie talk in fantasy football right now. So why not go use all that knowledge to do something other than a mock draft? Chris Jimino won $8,000 with just 2 teams last year, and each draft took 5 minutes. That's pretty good ROI. You can start doing rookie drafts for money today on Fast Draft. The Origins tournament is live. It is the place to go and monetize your knowledge of rookies and use your favorite player profiler host promo code for a $25 deposit match. Now let's go start drafting faster.
And it is fun. And I think anything you do, there's nothing wrong with free leagues, but anything that you do should have a little bit of financial stakes on the line. It just makes you take it that much more seriously, and it's not super expensive. They're currently running, I think it's Origins 3, and that's going to be the last one. Then we're going over at Fast Draft right into standard, redraft, not going to say redraft, but seasonal best ball style formats. You can get hooked up right now. Go over, use the promo code WarZone. And thank you, by the way, to everyone who has used the code. Love to see it. You use the promo code WarZone. You deposit $50 or up to $50, and you'll be matched up to $50. Now you could deposit 100 stacks, and we will not match that. You will have exactly $100,050 in your account if you choose to deposit $100,000, but you will only get deposited and match up to 50. I think that's fair, Jerry.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. It's just like every poker site. You love to see it.
You love to see it.
Little juice on top.
You don't have to play huge stakes. You just got to play for something. All right, Jerry. Speaking of something, I've got a good people bad tweets for you, okay. and it's a very simple one. I want to make sure I give this feller the due, and it was Mr. Nick Petikoff. Hope I'm pronouncing that correct. Nick Pentikoff. There's an N in there. Nick Pentikoff, and on May 3rd, he tweeted TJ Hockenson or Colston Loveland. And I will just tell you my reaction. We'll get your reaction in a minute. And I'm like, well, here you go. It's TJ Hockenson if you like actual fantasy points. It's Colston Loveland if you like the possibility of fantasy points. Colston, and then I hit him with the classic, gif of Peter Griffin with like the mystery box. He's like, Lois, it's a mystery box. It could be anything. Forget the boat. It could be anything, even a boat. Colston Loveland could be anything, including a top 5 tight end like TJ Hockenson. I think this was, again, he didn't have a side, but this is where we're at with rookie drafts right now. People have rookie fever. You heard the Podfathers promo for Fast Draft. Rookie. This is the mentality that will absolutely sink you, because Colston Loveland could be great. He could be the next Travis Kelce, or he could be the next OJ Howard. We really don't know. We really don't know. And as the old saying goes, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. So I will take TJ Hockenson. And by the way, I also Googled, how old do you think TJ Hockenson is? Now, I understand he looks older than he is. Like, if we were like to try to carbon date him, how old do you think that man is?
27.
He is 27. He'll be 28 in July. So he's literally, he's another year removed from the big knee injury where he tore multiple ligaments in the back end of 2023. Came back late last year. He's going to be literally a full 12 additional months recovered. I have questions about JJ McCarthy, but it's a very TJ Hockenson friendly offense, and it's going to be a high powered offense. Don't get so caught up in the potential upside that you overlook a guy who's doing really, really good, Jerry.
Yeah, nope. Not even close for me. Listen, I'm intrigued by Colston Loveland. I have lots of shares of him. I have drafted in that range quite a bit. I have definitely taken my stabs. I like Colston Loveland. Not in 100 opportunities would I take Colston Loveland over TJ Hockenson in any of them. What does TJ Hockenson got to do? I know he got injured.
Well, it's
good God.
It's fatigue.
It's fatigue, but the man isn't even that old, like you said.
The new hotness. It's the new hotness. We
honestly,
want new.
Let's talk about a different tight end real quick. I'm going to sidebar us. Who would you rather have, Tyler Warren and or Colston Loveland? Who, I know you have a preference, but let's say you don't. We'll just take them in a chunk. Or George Kittle, right? George Kittle's much older. He's a decade older than those guys, but he's George Kittle. And he just got his new juicy contract. So damn well you're going to get George Kittle production for 2, 3, 4 years. You may never get any production from either of those guys. And I know you guys don't want to hear that, but I'm sorry. You play 200 seasons worth of Dynasty like we do over the last decade that we've played this game. You're going to miss. And some players are going to flame out and be useless on your team. And they were all players that we liked at this time of the year they came out. I'm fully George Kittle in that situation. I don't care that he's 31. I don't care that they're 21. I'm not playing for 2035. I got 10 years to manipulate that situation to get the person that I want in that time frame. Give me George Kittle.
Yeah, I don't mind the George Kittle there. Like, if I had like the 111, I think I've seen him as early as like 108, and I've seen him as late as like the 112. I don't think I've seen Colston Loveland or Tyler Warren fall in a tight end premium Superflex draft. I don't think I've seen him fall to the second round. But if I can give up my contenders, because if you have the 110, right, or the 111 or the 112, you were a contender last year, unless you traded for that pick. So you were a contender, and now you're putting George Kittle, the only guy. I've always affectionately called him the Kelce Buster. It's like when Travis Kelce was in his prime, George Kittle was like the one guy who was capable of busting Kelce, no matter how good Kelce played in a given week. And then I'll give you my 110 for George Kittle, and then I'll use 210, 310, whatever, and I'll try to get a guy like Gunnar Helm. Terrence Ferguson, we're going to talk about him in a minute, with ADPs, heating up, but I think we're on the same page. Don't let fatigue of like older guys, the names of older guys, wear you down. It's like, at the end of the day, we like these guys. We even get emotionally attached to some of these guys. Cooper Kupp, I love you. It's family. It's a family thing. It's not my fault. We're attached. So I get that, but at the end of the day, they're all just guys putting fantasy points in our lineups, and that's what these guys are going to do. And some guys are already doing that and doing it at a high level, and that's what we're hoping the other thing gets to. So don't be afraid to pass on the rookie to chase the veteran. Jerry, that is good people, bad tweets. But while we're on the talk, that was one of my big takeaways was huge ADP fluctuations. Are there any guys in particular that from when you started doing your first, when did you start doing your first rookie draft? Was it the Saturday of the draft?
Yeah, it was the clock went on during day one, but I don't think anybody picked until that next day. So it was Friday.
Yeah, and you probably did it with either a 24-hour clock or no clock. You just pick if you felt
I just did
froggy.
no clock. Yep.
Yeah, and that's fine. I started Saturday at 6 p.m. And I will tell you what I've seen with some guys from when we first started. And some of these rookie drafts, like I think Patron 3 we had done in less than 24 hours. Yeah, it felt like it was literally 24 hours. And I can tell you where the ADP of a guy like what's Ferguson's first name? I'm wanting to say Jake, but that's the Cowboys Ferguson. Terrence. Yeah, Terrence Turd Ferguson. His ADP when we were doing rookie drafts, mock drafts, he wasn't even really going in the third round. We did a 3-round mock with John McGlynn a couple of weeks back. I don't think he went in that.
Yeah.
And then he got in a prime landing spot, and now he's shot up. I've seen him going as early as the mid-second, which I don't think is crazy if he steals that role from Tyler Higbee, who also had a major knee injury, much like TJ. I think the same guy did both knee injuries. I think he was a Lion, you sons of bitches.
He was. It was Kirby Joseph.
Yeah, it was. Now that I think about it, sons of bitches. But what guys are you seeing big ADP moves on?
The single most grand jump that I've seen from anybody from the pre-draft process to the rookie draft process is RJ Harvey, without a doubt. Like RJ Harvey was, I don't think people really considered him a first round running back. I think he's been a first round running back in just about every one of the recent drafts. Maybe right after the draft, he was an early second. I know I got him in at least one at like 201 or 202. The steam, my brother, my goodness. And I'm part of it, Randy. I am. I have so much damn RJ Harvey in that 108 to like 112 range, like that I made the playoffs sort of team, and I'm just plugging him in there. We've seen Audric Estime, right? Like he's fine. Like he seems like
he's not fine. He's not.
I mean, he's like 100%, but he's like Samaje, right? Like
if you told me
he's a person that's going to be in the league and he's going to be like on the back of your roster that you're never going to use for the whole time that you have him, but he's not going to be your guy. Like you're not plugging him in week 1 of the playoffs when you need a win. No, because you need the guy, and that's RJ Harvey, man.
Well, if you told me Audric Estime was changing tires at the local tire barn in 6 months, I would be 0% surprised.
100%.
This is the guy. This is the guy that, as I heard it, I think it was maybe McShay that Sean Payton and the Broncos could have potentially waited. They had like another pick, like 10 or 15 picks later, and RJ Harvey likely still would have been there. But they were like, no, this is the guy. This is the guy that makes this offense go. This is the next piece. We're talking about an offense that really has Cortland Sutton, Evan Ingram, maybe a little Marvin Mims, and they could have added huh?
We're hoping there.
Well, I'm with you.
I know.
But follow me here. So that's what they have from a skill group, and they're like, hey, what we're going to do is we're going to get this running back, and we thought they were going to take Omarion Hampton before the LA Chargers. They clearly felt better about letting Omarion Hampton go, ironically to a division rival, to then end up drafting RJ Harvey. I have not seen RJ Harvey go below 110. And that's another takeaway for me, is that RJ Harvey is kind of like that firewall. It's like, I will say for me personally, when you get to 111 with the guys that I have seen go 1 through 10, you get to 111, it is like, it is hard to make that decision.
Yeah, you're at like Emeka Egbuka, or maybe you want to take a shot on Jackson Dart or something.
Luther Burden's there quite a bit.
Like you're fine having those players, but you're not like, well, I got a guy. Like you're no longer confident that you're adding to your starting roster once you hit that point.
Yeah, when you get to that point, when you get to that 111, depends on who's gone, because like you were talking about, you saw Tet McMillan fall to 108, which is kind of weird because I'll tie that into a different takeaway. But yeah, I've wound up with a lot of Jackson Dart just because, like at the 110, 111, I will say for me, and this is how I build, I'm trying to hedge a little bit, right? I did really well last year because I've had for a long time a lot of Sam Darnold. I am not guaranteed that production. Not only am I not guaranteed it this year, I'm not guaranteed it long term. So Jackson Dart may hit, he may miss, he may be somewhere in between. But I've said all offseason that I thought the New York Giants, with their young skill position guys of Neighbors, Wan'Dale Robinson, Theo Johnson, Tyron Tracy, now you're adding Cam Scatabo. So that's a good offense. He's going to get to learn. He's not being rushed in. I've wound up with a lot more, but I did notice, so I went through this. I do have 3 shares, and I don't love that word, but I have Luther Burden on 3 rosters. And I'm just taking it based off of I like the guy. And as the Macho Man once famously said, Jerry, the cream will rise to the top. But that's a big takeaway for me, is that shit gets sideways right around 111. Would you agree?
100%. You're not confident with those guys. Like Matthew Golden could be a guy. Matthew Golden could be good there. I have probably 2. I've just taken stabs. I think
0.
one I think he fell to like 207. So I said, well, shit, I'll take the gamble here. But I don't have tons. Honestly, if I've been picking a lot of a Green Bay wide receiver, it's Savion Williams way late in drafts. He's a big guy. He's got 4.40, and I just don't have confidence in really any of the wide receivers. So I'll take a little shot on him, and he cost me nothing. I'm not usually the kind of guy that takes wide receivers late in rookie drafts, but he is the one guy that I've done. Another thing, Trey Harris. Like, he's a guy that was intriguing for people in the pre-draft process and all the scouting folks. And then he sort of fell off. I'm sort of in. Like, Ladd McConkey's there. Quentin Johnston's a bum. Justin Herbert is his quarterback. Like, he got good draft capital.
Did you say he's a bum?
Quentin Johnston is a bum. Sorry.
Okay, well,
yeah, I mean,
well,
we've been steady saying that he's a bum.
Is he a better prospect than Josh Palmer, who's now on the Buffalo Bills?
Trey Harris, I think he is.
Okay, well, Josh Palmer, his best season was actually his second season, 2022. 72 catches, 770 yards, 3 touchdowns. Not great. But but that was 107 targets. And we know Ladd's there. But I will say, I don't recall them signing a tight end. So are they going to use him in like more of that seam stretcher, over the middle type of player that, allows McConkey and your boy Quentin Butterfingers Johnston to drop passes on the outside? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm not saying the guy's like awesome, but just where he's going in the draft, sort of that mid-second round, he feels like another teardrop. Good God, Jerry, I'm done. I cut me off. He is the
Human Torch. Hold on, unique New York. Unique.
Yeah, he is.
The Human Torch was denied.
English is a hard language, man. All of the second language English speakers will agree with me. He just feels like he's the drop off for me. Because after that, then I'm like, I'm gambling on Jaden Higgins or like Josh Beck, or like I'm gonna go Bashal Tootin, who I have 0 of him, but that's a side conversation.
We'll spin out of it. I want to make sure that as we're giving these takeaways, we're not leaving too much behind. If I'm looking at Josh Palmer, 6'1", 210, ran a 4.57, horrible burst score. So now I will pull up Trey Harris. Trey Harris, 6'2", 205, so similar size.
55 overall in the draft. So I mean, he's got a little capital there.
And he ran a 4.54, so very similar time. But his athleticism, whereas Josh Palmer was in the 40th percentile of burst score, Trey Harris is in the 81st percentile. So he's a higher tiered athlete, is because burst matters, right? I know people love the 40. I heard the Podfather, talking about the 40 and that it still means something. Maybe for wide receivers and DBs, man, but like, give me that. Give me a top 3 in the class. I'm not saying he has this, but give me a top 3 in the class 10-yard split, 20-yard split. Give me a guy who can cut. Give me a guy who can run routes.
If there's one person, Randy, that we learned how unimportant the 40 is, it's your boy, Caleb Johnson. I mean, he's RB3 in this class. RB3. We get to the combine outside the top 5. And outside the top 5 means he's a mid-second round pick, right, in rookie drafts. And then he landed in Pittsburgh, which is sort of that perfect spot for him. Like, the offensive line isn't great, and he's not going to be awesome by any stretch of the imagination. Solid first-round pick in rookie drafts. I got a lot of Caleb Johnson. That's another one of those like contender teams where I have 110, 111, and Caleb Johnson's there, and someone sends me an offer, and I got to move back 3 spots, and they give me another second-round pick. Go to hell. Go right to hell. Caleb Johnson's on my team.
We can transition to that. I just want to add one more takeaway about the wide receivers.
Shoot.
I hate this class.
Yeah, me too.
I hate it. I didn't love Tet McMillan. He's clearly the wide receiver too. I will say, if you're wanting to get, because Jerry, is it fair to say that the fantasy industry is a little biased towards certain players, especially if they had a preconceived bias toward a player? Is that fair?
Echo chamber.
What I will say is the gambling industry does not have a bias on these players. They want your money. And they try to put out a number that will absolutely get your money. They have Travis Hunter, they being FanDuel, his season yardage prop is 700 yards, 700.5 last I looked. That's 41, not even 41 and a half yards a game if he were to play all 17. I think he's clearly going to exceed that. I might or might not have thrown some shekels at the over. I hate betting overs because you're fading all of the injury risk, that skews that number. But I think he's 1,000-yard wide receiver right out the gate, target competition. But man, you get like, I don't like Ibuka. I wasn't if you've listened to this podcast for any length of time,
a fan. I don't know if I have a single pick of him.
I have 0. I do have 3 Luther Burden because at one point, and this was in an industry league, I got him at 205.
I think that's probably where he should go. I mean, I agree that that's stealing also, but like, he's in a scary situation. You need Caleb Williams to get better. You need DJ Moore and everybody else to not do great. You need Colston Loveland to not be that great. You need Roma Dunze to replicate what he did last year without improving. Like, there's a lot of risk involved. That's the problem with all of the wide receivers in this class. Even Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter is an elite talent. And listen, shout out to the Sonic Truth, the boys Cody and Matt. They did a shout out for us. Sold our show a little bit tonight. Thank you for that, Matthew. But he said something that I loved, and so I'm going to regurgitate it. And I don't want to be an echo chamber on Player Profiler, but if you have a good argument, I'm going to steal it for sure. Think about every one of the wide receivers that went extremely early in drafts. The Jamar Chases of the world, the Calvin Johnsons, the Keyshawn Johnsons, blah, 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 right? These unbelievable elite talents. Travis Hunter goes 2. But Travis Hunter goes 2 not because he's going to be a wide receiver. If he was only a wide receiver, Travis Hunter's not going number 2 overall in the NFL draft. He went there because he's going to play corner also, which means I am limited on the amount of fantasy points that I am going to get because he's not going to play full-time both. And then Cody, the badass bitch that he is, went even more nuanced into it. And what's it going to look like week to week, Randy? Like, when he's in team meetings, is he going to do team meetings for defense this week? Is he going to be on the practice field? Is he going to be doing wide receiver? Is he going to?
You have to be.
I think it's very
an offensive meeting. I've heard the same thing, not from Cody. I heard it with Mark Schlereth. He said the exact same thing. it's like if he's going to be in meetings, he has to be in the offensive meetings because there's so much more synchronizing of that. But the one thing is that yes, you can throw Hunter out there on like man-to-man plays, but then
Yeah.
all of a sudden you're tipping your hand and saying, hey, we're in man-to-man because Travis is on the field. I'll tell you, and I don't remember who it was. They brought this up, but like every time that he played against elite, like I shouldn't say elite, but like NFL caliber wide receivers, he got scorched. Wasn't it Alec Ayomanor who went like in the 5th round who scorched him like scorched earth?
100%. Tet beat him up too.
He was a way better wide receiver than he was a defensive back. Now, again, I think he'll be the opposite of Dion. Obviously, Dion, coach, mentor, father figure. Where Dion was primarily a defensive player, special teams guy, and he chipped in occasionally on offense. I think with Hunter, you're going to see him primarily play wide receiver, and he'll chip in occasionally on defense. I am not worried about it. I don't bet a lot of futures. Now, I'm going to deviate to like a gambling sidebar here for a second. I don't like really betting futures because you're tying your money up. It's like the bet that I made on Travis Hunter over 700.5 receiving yards. I can't get that money back until middle of January.
Yeah.
So we're talking 7 months, 8 months. My money is just like tied up and locked up right there. But that's how much I liked it. That is how much I liked it at the time. I will say this, as you were talking about Luther Burden. I did a little math. I didn't get a chance to look into Jared Goff. I do know that Ben Johnson was in the bottom third of run to pass ratio in favor of the run. Last year, Caleb Williams attempted 33 point something pass attempts per game. He threw 562 passes, okay? That's 33 a game. And I've got 33 of something, right? It could be pieces of pizza. I'm a fat kid at heart. It could be pieces of pizza. It could be pencils. It could be whatever you want. And I have to divvy them up, and I'm trying to keep DJ Moore happy. I'm trying to keep Roma Dunze happy. I'm trying to keep Cole Kmet happy. He's still on the team. You may not like it, but he's still on the team.
Yes, he is.
I'm trying to keep Colston Loveland happy. I'm trying to keep Luther Burden III happy. The running backs like to catch footballs occasionally. You got to keep them happy. I know it's cliche, and if the Podfather was here, he would hit me with the cliche alert. I could do the exact same exercise with Emeka Egbuka. Chris Godwin's back. Cade Otton, Mike Evans, Bucky Irving, and Rachaad White can both catch the ball out the backfield. And all the wide receivers, even the ones that, like, I wasn't the biggest Egbuka fan, but there were so many spots he could, like, could we have not got Luther Burden to Seattle? Could we not have gotten Emeka Egbuka to Seattle where it's literally Jackson Smith and Jigba and nobody could? I don't know. I was very, very frustrated with the wide receiver landing spots. I will say this. I'll make you a deal. I am going to collect myself and my thoughts, and we're going to come back, and I'm going to tell you about the wide receivers that I found to be values and that I absolutely stacked up on right after this.
Hey, what if I told you there was a Dynasty app where you could get player lifetime values, evaluate trades, including draft picks out to 2028, compare the advanced metrics of two players, look up the sentiment, buy, sell, hold on players? Well, there is a mobile app that has all of that and more called the Dynasty Dominator, and it's $5 in the App Store on Google Play. This is my gift to you, the most affordable Dynasty League domination app available today. And if you already have it, the 2025 class is ready to download. Let's go.
I love the Podfather on a good commercial read. But yeah, I ended up punting wide receiver in that range and really in favor of a lot of, like, normally where like in the second round you could get a lot of value guys. Who are some of your more drafted wide receivers from this class?
Honestly, I don't have tons. I have diversified a ton just because I don't really believe in any of them. Not any of them. I like Travis Hunter. I have shots on Travis Hunter. I think it's a hard pick for you to hit draft player there just because you have a bunch of elite running backs in that range. But honestly, Randy, not many. Like, I don't know if I have Emeka Egbuka. I don't know if I have more than 1 or 2 shares of Matthew Golden. I don't have more than 1 or 2 shares of Trey Harris. Probably have one of like Jay Higgins. I have none of Beck. Like that second and third round range, Randy, that is Jerry's tight end range, buddy. Give me the Mason Taylors. Give me the Terrence Fergusons. Give me, Elijah Arroyo. Harold Fannon's going a little bit later because Njoku's there, but still, those are the guys that I have just been stabbing in the second and third round.
In that range, I've been getting a lot of Tootin. I have 3. I've drafted, but was it Bashiel? Tootin?
I don't know.
And it's close enough. I'm not good with names. I'm not good with names. It's not like I should be prepared.
Not going to be Tootin on my team.
Yeah. It's a hedge. And by the way, I got R.C. Fisher's name wrong earlier when he was with the Podfather. Not Ross Fisher or Russ Fisher. It could be, R could be for Russ or Ross or Ricky or, you know what, I'm going to go with Ross. But anyway, R.C. Fisher and the Podfather. That's the range where, like, I've been a ton of second round running back. Like, I look at I walk it like I talk it, right? I've got, because I didn't have a lot of 102s and he didn't fall to me at the couple of 103s that I have Noah Marion Hampton. I will have to make trades and, I don't mind. I don't feel the urge to, like, I've got to push the button, right? I can go get him later. I can go get him later via trade. I've got a ton of Ferguson, but talking about wide receivers, it was in the third round and the fourth round I started taking swings on guys in good spots. I took Bryant, the wide receiver who got drafted to the Denver Broncos. Could be something good, could be nothing, but it's a good spot. Targets available. Another guy, Torrey Horton. If you would have said Memphis, who is your second most owned rookie player coming out of all these drafts you've done in the last 7 days? If you'd have told me 2 months ago it was Torrey Horton, I'd have told you were full of shit.
I said, who the fuck is Torrey Horton a couple months ago?
Well, I mean, he's not exactly a Emeka Egbuka, but he is a guy that I like quite a bit. And he was starting to get some steam as like the guys that are like super deep into Devi were really talking about him. And I was like, again, it's Jackson Smith and Jigba and who? AJ Barner, Elijah Arroyo. There's not much left. So he has the real opportunity. Who was the guy who went to Dallas a couple of years ago? Small school guy, broke out at the Senior Bowl. I'm drawing a blank. I'll find it here in a minute. He's still on the team. I think he's going into his 4th year. It could be one of those type situations. But yeah, I'm taking swings on decent wide receivers in decent spots that could land to something. At least that way I'll know, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, Randy, God, we could just talk the draft all day. This is such a fucking good time. Oh, I'm looking at my draft boards right now. I don't have any picks in this league, which is rather unfortunate, but like, I just love the tight end class.
Jalen Tolbert, real quick. That was the Dallas.
Oh, yeah. South Alabama.
Yeah. He's on our lads. He's still technically listed as a starter for the Dallas Cowboys.
I like him. I got a couple shares.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I just wanted to get that name out there. Jump right into the tight ends you were talking about.
No, I'm just saying, like, all of them. Even like Gunnar Helm, which you sort of talked about a little wishy-washy. Like is Chiga Okonkwo this unbelievable asset that just has to be there? Like, no. Like, he's mid as hell. And if you've ever started Chig, which I have, you know damn well he didn't help you win, ever.
You were hoping.
Yeah, and you're getting Gunnar Helm in the late 3rd, 4th round, whatever. I mean, he was a 4th round draft pick, but, like, we've seen tons of 4th round draft picks. George Kittle, we talked about him earlier. Like, yeah, the hit rate is probably not great, but, like, oh my God. Like, I'm taking those guys in this draft over like pretty much every one of the running backs that's going that late. Like, I love Damian Martinez coming in, not with Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet there. DJ Giddens, who you drafted earlier, love Jonathan Taylor too much. Like, And like even like Kyle Monungai, who's a guy that I like, he was a 7th round pick. Like the likelihood that he's going to be there is no. Tight ends. And it's beyond Colston, Loveland, and Tyler Warren, which are already I'm happy to have. Like I when I draft those guys, yes, there are worries that I have, but I'm also so fucking happy. Like I'm thrilled to add them to my team. And then the 2nd round guys, when I'm looking and everyone's taking, Dylan Sampson and even Cam Scatabo, who I don't really care about, and I can draft Terrence Ferguson. Thank you.
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
I'm thrilled. Now I also play in tight end premium league, so if you don't play in tight end premium leagues, don't do that.
You're still hoping with tight ends.
100%. But I'm doing this in the 2nd and the 3rd round, Randy, and you know how I feel about 2nd and 3rd round picks. Like my line is if they fell out of my pocket, I wouldn't bend down and pick them up. So if I can get somebody that's at a premium position like that in a tight end premium league, oh my God, give it to me, daddy.
Well, that's way to make it weird.
Always.
I pulled up some depth charts while you were talking about tight ends. Torrey Horton, and how could I forget Seattle's amazing free agency haul of Marquez Valdez-Scantling and Cooper Kupp. So yeah, you got those guys, and then the second string. Here's your 2nd string wide receivers on the Seahawks. Are you ready?
I legitimately have no idea who you're going to say.
Rookie in the 5th round, Torrey Horton. Rookie in the 7th round, Ricky White III.
Former Spartan. Love Ricky White.
And Jake Bobo. It is not good.
No, slim pickings.
But that's why I took Torrey Horton.
Which is fair.
He's going to give me opportunity.
I'm not even mad at you.
So out of all of the tight ends not named Warren or Loveland, who is your favorite? You've mentioned Terrence Ferguson several times. You've mentioned
Mason Taylor, Randy. Come on,
Mason
baby.
Taylor.
I mean, it's got to be
0. He was never there.
Fair.
When I was there, or like there was like the one spot, because as the listeners know, I'm a big Colts fan. I'd love nothing more than to have a few shares of Tyler Warren. But every time I was in a position to do it, it was like that team I was talking about, the one that I made the draft pick on at the start of the show. I had the 110 in this league, right? It's that is the Tyler Warren spot in most Superflex tight end premium spots, right? The 110. That's money. But I'm like, again, I got TJ Hockenson, I got Pat Fryermuth, I got Brenton Strange. I don't need another tight end. I know draft best player available and then trade him. No, yeah, that never works. And so that's why I went RJ Harvey. So I like Terrence Ferguson. I think the spot's great. And if anyone has paid attention to previous drafts, you know that Sean McVay was trying to go up last year and get Brock Bowers. It was the worst kept secret in the NFL draft in 2024. And please don't hear what I'm not saying and what Jerry's not advocating for is we're not saying Terrence Ferguson is going to be Brock Bowers.
Correct.
What we're saying is that Sean McVay went out of his way to get would you say that he was overdrafted or maybe drafted higher than you anticipated?
Of course.
And because of that, that's messaging. That tells you something. So I like that. The last big takeaway I'll share is the value running back. Because I had a couple that I was getting early. Like, do you want to guess who's my most owned rookie through double-digit drafts? Who do I have the most of?
Well, give me a tier or a round at least that you got this person in.
I was initially getting them at the end of the 3rd round, early 4th, and now they're going early to mid-3rd. So their ADP has already jumped almost a full round. I'm not going to say it's because of me and my dominance of the dynasty industry. I can see where you would go. I can see where you would go there and give me that credit. That's fine.
Uh-huh.
But I'm not saying this because of me.
It's got to be Dylan Sampson.
It's not. It's Woody Marks.
Oh,
Woody Marks.
We're going to talk about Woody Marks.
Well, I thought Woody Marks was okay, but I look at the barrier to entry. Dude, Joe Mixon looked like amazing to start the season last year. He fell apart down the stretch. And then it's Dameon Pierce. There's not a whole lot of things to get in the way of Woody Marks getting meaningful touches. I'm not trying to build a dynasty roster around Woody Marks. I'm hoping he takes advantage of the opportunities that are in front of him, and I can flip him in season for a tidy profit. But yeah, he's a guy whose ADP is way out of whack. And I got another one, but you don't like Woody?
No,
Pause.
I absolutely love Woody Marks, Randy. I think there's at least one league where I took him at the end of the second round because I'm with you. Joe Mixon doesn't miss tons of games, but Joe Mixon also lost a lot of his sizzle. And anybody that had Joe Mixon in the beginning part of the season thought they were going to run through whatever league they were in when he was getting 30 carries every single game. And then by the end, you got 6 points and you were eliminated. And now you're picking Tyler Warren, which is not a terrible thing, but you want to win the damn shit. Woody Marks, man, he runs well. He did it in the SEC at Mississippi State. He did it in the Big Ten at USC. He's been good. He fights. He's awesome. He's a violent runner. I love guys that are violent runners. And it's Joe Mixon and then like a bunch of guys that we talked about 4 years ago in rookie drafts and all the Dare Ogunbowales and the Dameon Pierces and I don't care who they are. No, 100%. That said, like to piggyback off of my man Randall here, flip at him. Because if I get him at the end of the second, or if I got him in the third round, which is mostly where he's going, all it takes is one start. All it takes is one fancy run. All it takes is one game with 15 touches. And he's a second round pick in your rookie drafts. Minimum. That's all it takes. Even if you hate the man with everything in you, you watch Woody Marks and you think, gonna be crap. The moment he starts, second round pick in your rookie draft. And that's the same for all running backs, which is why you should be taking those stabs on running backs late and not wide receivers. Because if a wide receiver breaks out in a game, you're not going to be able to flip him. Running back immediately.
Well, exactly. I would say if you're going to take a swing on these guys, take advantage of the guys in the good situations. And the reason why I like Woody Marks is he's a very good pass catcher. I'm going to by the way, Woody, not his first name, Jaquavius Marks. Born
kick-ass name. He should have just gone with Jaquavius, but no. You know why
Marks?
Woody?
Why?
Because I saw the special they did. For Halloween, he was Woody from Toy Story, like 8 Halloweens in a row or something. So everyone just started calling him Woody.
That is an iconic movie. Entire franchise, pretty darn good. But anyway, Marks is a weapon in the passing game. He runs multiple routes and has soft hands. He is experienced in catching the football out of the backfield. He has 256 receptions over his career. He is a dynamic dual threat playmaker and creates mismatches against linebackers in coverage. Hello. What are we looking for? You know, I know you like Caleb Johnson.
Yep.
But he had one of the worst 10-yard splits in the history of the combine, and he has no real passing game, chops to speak of. And not that I'm anti-Caleb Johnson. I think he's the new Najee Harris. If you want a guy who can be RB11 on a good season, that's your guy. Lock it up, Caleb Johnson. Boring and predictable, as we say at work. But I think Woody Marks is a home run. Now, are you ready for my second guy?
Okay.
The other guy, and his ADP has not jumped a full round yet, like Woody, but it's Taj Brooks. I have been, and I have him in 4 leagues. I have Woody in 5, Taj in 4. Those are those guys I'm taking. Again, it's the exact same thing. Where are you at on Taj Brooks?
He's fine. I've definitely taken stabs. I was not the biggest fan of Taj Brooks, and I don't necessarily love that spot. I think it's going to be tough for him to get carries, but in the event that something happens to Chase Brown, I don't think Zach Moss is the best player in the world, so he absolutely would get a role, so I'm totally fine with taking him. This falls under the umbrella of take those running backs late, because if they get an opportunity, you are profiting immediately. And that's the thing that people need to learn with these picks. If I can take a 4th round rookie pick and I can turn it into a second in 2 weeks, that's a win. Stop just getting that. Oh, I took this person in the 4th round and now they're playing. Yeah, but they're not going to be playing for long. And then you're going to be stuck holding the bag. And he's just going to sit on your roster because of those 3 weeks that he helped you 2 years ago. Just profit. Let someone else hold on to him, man.
You mean to tell me that you don't think he could beat out Samaje Perine and Zach Moss? I mean, you're talking old and busted. I think you
I agree. It's just
consider Perine old and Moss busted. I think that's fair.
I mean, it is, but also like they're NFL veteran backs. They're not starters. They're never gonna be starters. They're not there to be starters. They're guys to just take the pain so that Chase Brown can do what he does. It's going to be tough for him to be there, but also he absolutely could create a role for himself.
And he's a good sized fellow. I'm looking Chase Brown, 5'10", 210, solid. Taj Brooks, 5'9", 215. Very, very, very similar. Taj has got a pretty good set of agility scores on him. So again, I got him in the 4th round, and now his ADP is up in the 3rd round. So it's creeping. It's creeping. It's like, what am I chasing later in these rookie drafts? And it's something that I didn't bring up enough. And if you've not done a bunch of rookie drafts, I apologize. Look for the good situations. Look for it goes back to the conversation about Luther Burden and Emeka Egbuka. That's my biggest takeaway, is no matter how much we like a guy, and yes, do you remember, I don't know, it's probably been 6-7 years ago when A.J. Brown come out and everyone poo-pooed the landing spot that was the Tennessee Titans. Oh, am I looking at one, Jerry? It's an audio podcast. You can't point at yourself and expect the podcast listener to realize you're pointing at you. The YouTube and all the people watching on social media, thank you. Like and subscribe. But you don't always let the landing spot poo-poo you. Yeah. Especially with studs. Like if you felt very strongly and very convicted about Luther Burden and Emeka Egbuka, I get your guy. I'm not gonna, especially in that range. That's a YOLO range anyway. You might fuck it. Yep. Just give me somebody. Give me someone I like. But in these later rounds, the 3rd, the 4th, I drafted DJ Giddens on that very reason. The Colts backups are bums. Bums on bums on bums. And it does not take a huge leap of faith to see that DJ Giddens is literally one Jonathan Taylor injury away, and that's a really good offense. Whether it's been Anthony Richardson or Gardner Minshew or whoever, the Shane Steichen offense has been very good for running backs. Yeah, sign me up for that in my 3rd and 4th and 5th round. I'll tell you, Damian Martinez is a guy that I love your boy. I love your boy. I love Kenneth Walker.
He gets hurt.
If he was healthy, if he had a clean bill of health, even a cleaner, he would be my RB5 in a dynasty startup. I can't do it. He's never rewarded that. He has the talent to do it. And this is a contract year for him. So you mean to tell me that a year from now that a guy like Damian Martinez couldn't carve out a role? Those are the kind of moves that you need to be making late in these rookie drafts. And I got one last guy because it's from Slashy. Slashy is a fan favorite.
He was in the chat earlier for the Sonic Truth 2 with me.
Dude,
my man.
Slashy is I interact more. I'm assuming Slashy. I mean, it's not like Steve, but Slashy is like always out there, and the take there is I can't stop drafting Jalen Milroe. That's a great one, Jerry. This is going to hurt for me to say. You do know that Sam Darnold's not the greatest quarterback in the history of America.
That is true.
And that's just me being honest. I love Sam Darnold, and I think he's going to do fine there because that Clint Kubiak, I think he'll be fine. But dude, Jalen Milroe, he's going to get on the field. He's a tremendous athlete. You can put defenses in a lot of bad spots with a guy like Jalen Milroe. And if for some reason, like this is the ideal situation, this is why we have taxi squads. You get a guy like Jalen Milroe, you're not going to start him because unless Sam Darnold gets hurt, you're not going to get any real opportunity at points this year. But this is what the taxi squad's for. Slashy's exactly right. He's not a capable passer. He is not. But and this is why I like what Seattle did way better than what the Colts did with Anthony Richardson. You took a guy who's got some sketchy passing skills. Instead, this guy doesn't have to start. And he can learn from a good offensive coordinator and a veteran quarterback. And that's the kind of lottery ticket I like to have on my roster, because the way we talk about Jalen Milroe was the way, what was it, 6 years ago, 5 years ago? The way that we talked about Jalen Hurts. Isn't that what you're looking for? Isn't that what Dynasty's all about? You're taking these huge swings on guys that if they hit like a Jalen Hurts did, you have a building block. And if they hit enough for you to flip them, you can flip them. That's why I love rookie drafting, Jerry.
No, and I'm with you with Milroe. The problem is I worry about the passing. Because I like the dude's got a cannon. Like he can launch it down the field, which is great. I just need you to be consistent. And here's the thing. Is he going to win games? I don't know. Is Sam Darnold going to win games there? That is another reason. I don't know. But that also could create the opportunity for Jalen Milroe to go in. Because if you have an intriguing player who's young, why not take a shot? Especially he's going to have at least one of those runs where he runs 30 yards into the end zone, because they're going to have, it plays for him. I'm cool with taking shots on, honestly, all of the quarterbacks. You want to take Shedeur, you want to take Jalen, you want to take Dylan Gabriel in the second round. I'm not mad at you for it. There's a real chance Dylan Gabriel is better than Shedeur Sanders and every other bum that is in Cleveland, and he ends up a starter. Cool.
I would not advocate for drafting Dylan Gabriel. Do you know why? This is what I heard on a podcast. I'm not saying it's true. Do you know why they drafted Dylan Gabriel in Cleveland?
Because they need a quarterback.
Wrong. They drafted Dylan Gabriel with a third-round pick, which was considered high, in hopes that it would mean the owner, would not make them draft Shedeur Sanders. Sure enough, even though they took Dylan Gabriel in the third.
Here's the problem with Shedeur Sanders, though. That same owner made them pass on him 4 fucking times, along with every other franchise in the league. We stop kidding ourselves with Shedeur Sanders. The dude takes too many sacks. He holds on to the ball for ages. He's not going to be a guy. And listen, if we get to his montage where he is playing in the Super Bowl and they're playing cuts of all of the dopes that said horrible things about him, put me on the Super Bowl commercial where I'm saying this. The dude is a 5th-round draft pick, and there's a reason for it. He's mid as hell. And not to say Dylan Gabriel is some awesome talent. He's not, but also...
Well, we'll just wrap this one up with a spicy Shedeur take. Let me ask you a question. And where was Shedeur thought of talent-wise going into the draft?
Good.
No. Okay, good. So like he was a first-rounder, right?
Yeah.
It was that one
isolated No. Hold on. He was thought of as a first-rounder by us.
Right. And
by our people.
Correct. So, and it's not just our people. It's Daniel Jeremiah. It's Lance Zerline.
Those are all people.
All
they
those
have
people.
Platform. There are people.
The guy was clearly talented enough to be a first-round pick. There was some things around him that dropped, but you can't tell me that.
But we saw Laramie Tunzel smoking weed out of a gas mask, which is a terrible time. Don't do that. Young Jerry could tell you. And we've seen people plummet. He didn't plummet to the 5th round. He was an elite talent. He still went in the 1st round. We saw issues with Aaron Rodgers. He fell to the 26th pick.
I don't think
we saw Johnny Manziel get drafted in the 1st round. We want to talk about things that people that had issues that were there, they didn't drop to the 5th round. There's a reason he dropped to the 5th round in NFL.
It's called his dad. It's
football related. It is football related. If it was his dad, he drops to the second or the third round, not the fifth, not day 3.
Well, I think the NFL sees him as a backup, and the NFL, and I've said this before, the
They're
NFL,
right.
they do not want a circus at the backup quarterback. It's why Cam Newton got booted out of New England when Mac Jones became the starter. You cannot have a celebrity backup. So
I don't like start to finish career. Dylan Gabriel had a better college career.
yeah, but I've seen a lot of guys have good college careers.
He never threw more than 7 interceptions in a season. He threw 30 touchdowns in multiple. He played like 31 years in college. I mean, he played at Oregon. He played at Oklahoma. He played at UCF when they went undefeated. I think he played way back then. But like, I just think he's better.
Well, we shall see. How about this? We can create a wager between you and I. And
Accepted. Accepted. I just think Dylan Gabriel's better.
We'll just have to figure out the stakes. So, all right, that is the end of the Dynasty content. Jerry, do you want to stick around long enough for my my Marvel the Thunderbolts review?
Yes, I obviously did not see it because I am not a superhero nerd, but I know a lot of people are.
I am. I can tell you from like the box office standpoint, it's not trending great. Like about that same range.
I've actually heard good things, but
it is if you enjoyed that classic Marvel team up where like you actually felt like you were rooting for the individuals, and they're not like famous like Iron Man. Like everybody knew Iron Man. Like my mom would know who Iron Man is, right? She would know who Captain America is. She wouldn't know who Bucky is or Yelena or the Red Guardian. She would have none
of those names mean anything to me.
Never,
I know Iron Man.
Never heard of a one. I will say this. I'm an older guy. I didn't grow up in the mental health space. Protect your, and it had a real positive message around that. So I thought that was cool. I thought the action sequences were cool. It was good Marvel. It was the best Marvel movie since what was it, Endgame? Like better than anything you've seen on TV or the movie theaters in like the last 4 or 5 years. Gave me hope. And this is a spoiler-free review, but it did set up future things. So for you fellow Marvel nerds, you know that happen to also play Dynasty Fantasy Football, I will tell you it was worth how much is a movie? Like $15?
Yeah, it's a lot.
I mean, it's like like $15. By the way, a soda, like I mean, I went like on a Thursday night, like I went opening night. Because this was the night that fit in my schedule with baseball and everything. So I go, a soda, a large, 32 ounce, whatever soda, $7 and change.
Yeah, buddy.
What are we doing here?
Capitalism, brother. Dude. They got you to pay for it. That's why they do it.
I did. At least they had like the Coke, like the mix yourself thing. The one where like you touch the flavor.
You got a fancy theater. Okay.
Oh yeah, we have this new theater called Imagine in northern Indianapolis. Here, it's great. Every seat's a recliner. You got like the little table tray if you want to eat. They have food. They have a lounge. They have a lounge with a piano player.
Yeah, we had them in Michigan. We don't have them in Ohio. In Ohio. Goodness, Iowa. We got the Crumb Bums movie theater out here.
So I will say if you're looking for classic Marvel adventure, maybe you watched it 10 years ago, I'd give it a strong consideration. Get you out of the house, and it's worth the price of admission. So there you go, Jerry. But, man, rookie season slowly coming to an end. And, we were going to start today. We had some logistics issues. We need to get this going. Our startup, Patron 20, starting up. It's going to be a good time. 20 leagues, man. It's crazy out there, but I'm ready to get into some startup stuff. I'm ready to see where the rookies are mixing in with the vets and where do they fit in? I'll be shocked. I have not done a startup this year.
Give me 90 seconds.
Sure. I'm not in a hurry.
What you are thinking? Do you think the rookies are going to go too high with this class? The running backs will. Running backs will for sure. But I feel like people are skeptical on tight ends. I feel like well, maybe not Tyler Warren and them, or I meant wide receivers. They're skeptical on the wide receivers, skeptical on the quarterbacks. Like I think Cam Ward is going to get drafted pretty far down, not like super late, but like later than a rookie normally goes. Like I feel like people are trepidatious about this class.
Well, I wish I had more data. Like this is one of those things where if we had the time and some studies, I would like to see ADP swings. And maybe one of you people are really good with data and collecting things. So here's what I got for you. I would love to see ADPs of the rookies if your startup is done around rookie draft time, like this one's going to be. Where do the rookies go in those startups? Let's say startups in May and June versus the startups that go July and August. Because you're past the rookie season, because like we're going to talk about veteran winners and losers next week. Who are some veterans that won? Who are guys we're looking to go get, et cetera, et cetera. I would be very curious about the ADP swing, because I bet you that as some of the sizzle wears off, and I will leave you on this, and you can throw in anything you want to wrap it up. I will say that the big four running backs will be overdrafted right now because it's hot. And I don't know that you can really overdraft them, as weird as the RB situation is in Dynasty. I mean, if you told me you wanted Travion Henderson as your RB1 instead of Saquon Barkley, I'd be like, I get it. You must not be trying to win this year, but I get it.
Yeah,
I mean, you could. I mean, don't get me wrong.
100% is a non-zero possibility.
Could be great, but that's what I'm looking forward to, and we'll report back. Well, you know what? We'll bump veteran winners and losers. We'll do startup takeaways next week. How about that, Jerry?
I like that.
All right, we'll do some takeaways from our first startup of the season, and I think that's the show, man.
Listen, that's a good ass show. That's a good ass show, because we had to dissect a little bit what the drafts were. So, and they've been, I don't know, it's a weird draft, because I feel like the first round, it feels pretty good this year. Like it feels like I'm getting players that I can start. And that's not always the case. Usually it's the first 4 or 5 guys, and then I'm hoping, right? I feel pretty good about a majority of them. Like even when I get into like 109 and 110, and I'm like, okay, I'll take Colston Loveland, or I'll take Tyler Warren. Like I feel good about it. Caleb Johnson, like I feel good about that range.
I just like pushing the draft button.
That too.
And, like if you're out of rookie drafts, like I'm almost out of rookie drafts, and you're looking to keep that draft magic alive, check out Fast Draft. You can download the app, Google Play, Apple App Store. It's there. You sign up, you use promo code WarZone. It'll go dollar for dollar up to $50. By the way, shout out to our newer patrons. We've got Josh in there. We've got Matt. Those are the 2 newest ones that came in. They're already in the new startup. And a big shout out to our existing patrons. But Jerry, by the way, there's going to be someone and be like, they didn't go 1 through 5. Their 5 biggest takeaways. There's more than 5 takeaways in here.
There's way more.
Way more than 5. Way more than 5. But I'll leave you with this takeaway. This can be a bonus takeaway. This is the lesson that Shador Sanders could have used. I teach it to my son and all the young guys that I coach. One of the biggest life lessons I can teach you is don't be a dick. If you're a dick, it will always come back to bite you. Don't be a dick. But you guys aren't dicks. You're great people. We'll see you back here next week for more Dynasty Talk. Love you guys. See ya.
Hey, I want to thank you for being part of this broadcast. If you have any thoughts on it, leave a comment. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like. And if you want to see more shows on the Player Profiler channel, subscribe to it. That's how we know you want more.